Welcome, soul family. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I love you guys so much. Here we are, guys. It's a new day. I'm out here at one of my spots, which is this park with kind of like in the bush, I guess you could say. Indigenous trees, a lot of indigenous trees here. There's so many butterflies, yellow butterflies, dragonflies all around me in this area. There's like this mini dam, mini lake, kind of this small little dam on my left. This wasn't here at some times of the year, I guess. Perhaps during the rainy season it may have filled up, or I thought so. I was wondering, like, did they fill this up manually themselves, or is this because of the rain? Might have actually been because of the rain, which is pretty cool. Hmm, interesting. So here we are, guys. It's a new day. I just handled some stuff. I just handled some stuff in town that I had to handle. I visited. I don't know if I want to tell you guys, but fuck it, I guess. One, two, three. I visited the dentist today, right? So just went in there real quick for some stuff, for some work and stuff. Yeah, I don't think I need to tell you about the specifics of it. But anyway, cool, got that sorted, got the checkup sorted and whatnot, whatever needed to get done, consultation, cleaning, whatever, right? And then now here I am. Yeah, I decided to just drop the bag on that, bro. I'm like, you know what? Nah, bro, I gotta invest in me. Gotta invest in myself, bro. Like, gotta invest in the moneymaker. But anyway, no, man, it was time. It was definitely time. Definitely needed. I'm glad I did it. It's all about perspective. You can see it as like a big expense, or you can realize, oh, it's an investment. You can see it as a yearly thing. You can see it as, if you don't do it now, it just gets more pricey, right? If you don't take care of things, turns out to end up becoming more pricey than it would have initially been if you sorted it out, right? Kind of like life, actually. How it always turns into an analogy of life, guys. Oh my god, cool butterflies, guys, all sorts of colors, yellow, green, orange, really cool stuff, guys. Anyway, right, if you don't sort it out now, it's just gonna get worse. It's like that analogy of the train station. If you get on the wrong train, you better get off at the nearest stop, because the longer you stay on that fucking train, the further you're getting away in the wrong direction, right? You could say the same for relationships, bro. When you're on the wrong train, you can also say this for trading as well. When you're on the wrong train, right, going in the wrong direction, your losses, you have to cut your losses quick, bro. The quicker you cut your losses, the better it is for you. It's not always easy to cut your losses, but the longer you stay on the wrong train, you're headed in the wrong direction, mate. You know what I mean? So the sooner you sort it out, the better. The longer you take, the worse you let it, the worse it would get. You know, in a way, sometimes. But yeah, man, I see it as a catalyst, bro. I see it as life. It's just life, baby. It's a catalyst, right? That's it, man. I always try and look at the bright side of things. How can I flip this scenario to work in my favor, right? It's like when Viktor Frankl was stuck in the concentration camp. He had no other choice but to figure out how to adjust and adapt to the situation so that he can liberate himself in some way. Or like the slaves in America or Africa or wherever, South America, Australia, wherever. the concentration camps, the slaves, they had to find joy in the mundane. They had to find God in the mundane. They were still singing their songs. They were still finding joys in the small things. Where was I getting at with that? Hmm. When Viktor Frankl was in that concentration camp, or when the slaves were enslaved, or the prisoners like Nelson Mandela was imprisoned, even though he was fighting for freedom for the people, equality for the people, equal opportunity, right? He was imprisoned, so he had no other choice. He was in a dire situation, and so sometimes God will test his strongest soldiers. Sometimes God will test his prophets, for example, through the hardest tests of time, right? He had to be in prison for that many years, but when he came out, he was a hero, right? And not every story has a happy ending like that. Sometimes only God gets to witness it, only you and God. And that's enough because you realize there's a bigger picture to all of this. There's an afterlife, and all of this was planned, and all this ego shit, it fades. All this accomplishments, money, status, power, all that bullshit, it fades. You know, you can't take that shit with you to the afterlife. And hey, I was talking about the afterlife. Before I get back to my previous point, there's a yellow butterfly. I got invited onto a podcast, on Emily's podcast, who is apparently a psychic, and she's apparently had multiple near death experiences. How cool is that, guys? I took the leap of faith, right? Started putting my face and voice out into the world, despite knowing that there's going to be pushback in my environment and there could be consequences, right? I stopped waiting for the right time. But then I started doing that on YouTube. Then I'm like, shit, do I want to go to Instagram? Do I want to go to TikTok? Because people in my who might know me, right? People from my past, family, friends, because I talk about pretty triggering things, right? Things that are pretty triggering to a lot of people, which is why I sort of was like kind of wary about if I should speak out about these things. And I was kind of postponing it, like, hey, maybe I should wait till I'm independent. Maybe I should wait till the perfect conditions, right? But starting is the perfect condition, like Homosi says. You know, it's like I thought if I speak out, I might get backlash, but ultimately it was me holding myself in prison in my own brain. But then I decided, you know what, fuck it, let's do. I was like, this is fun, this is exciting, this scares me. Let's expand my reach. Let's do an experiment. Let's see what it would be like. So I started posting on those platforms too, and then she commented on one of them, Emily, and she invited me onto her podcast, which is in like a week on the 15th. So I'm looking forward to that, guys. That's going to be exciting. Probably going to post some clips on here as well. So yeah, that's going to be fun. And yeah, cool. Let's fucking go. Hmm, exactly. So Mandela, Viktor Frankl, the slaves, they had to look at the bright side. Sometimes you can't really control things. If you have unrealistic expectations of your life, because you see things in movies and social media and you pedestalize things, then you're not finding joy in the moment. You know, you're thinking it's going to be somewhere else, some future point. You're postponing it. When I get money, when I'm rich, you might not live till then. You might die before then. You might die before you retire. Then what? What is your money going to mean in your bank account? You know, so that's why I make the most of what I have and look at the bright side of things, guys. Regardless of your environment, they could enslave your body, but at least your spirit, your mind can be free. You can free your mind, you can free your spirit. Your imagination is limitless, right? Like Einstein used to say, like, imagination is true intelligence in a way, because he said something along those lines. You know, it's a really cool facet of being human, faculty. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, and it might be more pronounced in some people than others, but I feel like we all have different skills and strengths and weaknesses. And who gives a fuck? It's not about being productive and being fucking leaving a legacy and doing cool shit or accomplishments, bro. Like, just be a fucking human, bro. Like, chill. Don't put that much pressure on yourself. Like, relax. Like, even the biggest stars, the biggest conquerors, no one gives a fuck about them. That's just ego, societal matrix bullshit. Sure, there's some truth to it. Like, sure, strive for excellence, strive to do good in the world, I suppose, is not the worst intention to have. So at the very least, you can free your mind, bro. And it's actually the biggest wealth you could get. It's the most beautiful thing you could do for yourself, honestly speaking. I probably would not trade anything in the world for it. Billions, millions. Say no thanks. Because it's like, hey, if I gave you $1 million, but you only have a week to live, or you don't get to wake up tomorrow, you only have today to use it and then you're dead forever, you wouldn't take the $1 million. Do you get what I mean? Don't worship money. Don't pedestalize money. There's things more important than fucking money. Wealth and prosperity is beyond fucking money. Don't let the matrix fucking. Don't get lost in that shit, bro. The matrix programming will get people lost in that shit, bro. That's why it's important to remind ourselves about what's actually important, you know? Because money sometimes causes problems for people as well. You know that famous saying, money is the root of all evil, right? So it's a very complicated topic sometimes. It's very nuanced. That's why I'm saying, like, why would you. Money makes people turn on their families, makes people turn on their friends, makes people be lonely millionaires, miserable, lonely millionaires with money. Empty. No genuine connections around them. Just fair enough. But you don't necessarily need that much money to have a great quality of life. A millionaire can have so much money, but there's only so much dopamine in his brain that he can unlock, for example, right? So if you know how to chemically hack your brain with or without substances, right? You don't need substances. Be very careful with that stuff and make sure you do your research, right? With anything. Like, there's tools out there and there's also things that are pretty dangerous as well. So make sure you do your research with anything you decide to do. I'm very scientific in my approach with things in life, okay? So, look at the science, bro. Anyway, Gonna end this video here. Thank you so much for watching, Soul Family. I love you guys so much. Adios mi familia de sol.